I always bring a topic in this space so that we can talk about what we always do face on a day-to-day life, what we always do face, maybe as couples, as newly wedded couples, or as those who are dating, or maybe as those who are just new in the relationship. And so I'm always happy to bring new topics every other day. I mean, it's always my happiness when we talk about things that are perhaps those secrets that are in the bedroom, and maybe if you are a couple outside there, and perhaps you haven't noticed one or two things about your partner, and maybe this could be, or this can be, one of the lessons or one of the best podcasts or episodes that teaches you or tells you more about your partner, or helps you learn about your partner, because most people, they have secrets when they get into a relationship. After they get into a relationship or marriage, they have secrets, and these secrets is really not notable until maybe you start digging in, or start maybe paying attention to your partner. That's when you'll realize or you'll recognize this thing. And so I really do appreciate for those who always tune in to perhaps watch and listen. I want to say thank you so much. Continue to tune in, continue to listen, continue to perhaps share the episodes that always come like every other week. And so I'm really grateful. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you guys again, to welcome you back again to the First Podcast TV, a space where we talk about sex, we talk about love, we talk about intimacy, we talk about relationship, marriage, and just like everything revolving around sex, love, relationship, intimacy, and marriage. And so today we are going to dig into a much more deeper topic. And to me, this is something that most people don't always want to talk about. I mean, you look around, you see around you, like where you're staying, or the family that you have. I mean, it's something that most people, they always don't want to talk about it. I mean, to some point they are embarrassed of talking about it. To some point they believe that it's contrary to what they believe, or to perhaps God's creation, or maybe the commandments of the Almighty. But then does it mean that with the topic that I'm about to bring, does it mean that they are doing or they are going against their hormones or feelings, or what does it mean? And so before I start, there is this question that somebody asked, and they say this person was asking, have I committed a sin by marrying the same sex gender like I am? I mean, the person who was interviewing him was like, yes, you have committed a sin. And then the person was like, what have I done? What kind of a sin have I committed? And so in your own opinion, I want to, maybe you drop your comment in the comment section. Tell me, is it a sin to marry, or to date, or to have a relationship with the same sex partner? And that takes us directly to the topic of what same-sex gender go through, just beyond marriage. What do they go through before or after, and then what really causes the same-sex gender getting into having a relationship? I mean, what's that? What are the causes? What makes them to go to that extent, like go and overboard of doing all that? I believe they have their reasons, and I always say that this episode or this podcast doesn't just address maybe one or same. I mean, it doesn't address one person or two people. I mean, it's all over. It addresses, it cut across every other relationship. I mean, you saw we talked about the transgender, what they go through, what they feel like they want to have, they want to be. I mean, what they really want as a transgender, how they want it. I mean, we talked about the challenges they are facing. We talked about the marriages. I mean, we talked about how they feel, like what results to them being that transgender, like what ends up in them, or what ends up making them being a transgender. So today we are also focusing on another topic which might be like have the same relation as the transgender. I mean, it's in the maybe the second last episode after this. You can just tune in, watch, and then get to understand how do transgender live, what do they want, what do they feel like, what makes them, or what is the end result, or what pushes them to be or to be a transgender. What do they go through in their relationship? I mean, it's all there. So today we are going to look at the same-sex gender. I mean, what makes them to be that? What pushes them to be that? What are the challenges they go through? I mean, have you ever attended perhaps a lesbian wedding or a gay wedding? Like, how does it be? How does it look like? I mean, we are going to look at what are some of the countries that perhaps supports this same-sex gender. We have lots of countries, one or two or three or four countries that are supporting this same-sex gender. So I want to say thank you. Stay tuned as we roll on. So to begin with, we want to look at the challenges that these people do face. But before that, we want to look at how do they become, or how do they end up developing an interest in the same-sex gender. This will take us back, perhaps with our kids, or yes, it will take us back to when we are kids or when we have kids. You look at, if you're in the house, there are these TV stations, the cartoon station. If you maybe I give you the homework to dig in, you find out what are some of the channels that perhaps go contrary to maybe your child's life or your child's health, because there are those cartoons that at the end of the day, they portray the message of lesbianism or the gayism. But then we always say all this is a choice. I mean, no one is being forced to be a lesbian or be a gay, but it's always a choice of what you want, you see. And so you see, even in school, I mean, I saw in a school in South Africa whereby the kids were being asked their sex group, and they were like, publicly they were being asked, what sex are you? And they were like, I'm a lesbian, I'm a gay, I'm a bisexual, or yeah. So they were being asked, and you figure out, like, to them it's a normal thing. You know, when somebody goes to public about his interest in another sex gender, that means this person wants to be recognized, and the same they be like, this is what they want. I mean, they are not interested in any other thing, but That is what they want. And so when they go public, it means they want to be recognized. They don't want to hide anymore. Like they don't want to like to take it under the carpet, but they want to be seen. They want to be recognized. They want to be heard, and that is that just in school. And then even if you come into maybe into our country, I mean these things happen. It's most like these all activities starts way back in high school, whereby maybe in boarding school or in day school they meet different kind of kids with different background, and so you find that when they mingle, they end up having a different characters altogether. Because you are a parent, you are back at home, you've taken your son or your daughter to school, but at the end of the day, when he comes back home or when she comes back home, you won't notice perhaps because maybe most of the time you'll be like you are relieved your son or daughter is at home, so the house chores and all that you won't concentrate much on them. Or maybe with the television, you see most of them tend to spend time on the television, and this television, there are those channels that, like I've said, I've given you that responsibility to actually go and dig to find out which are the channels that perhaps at the end of the day portrays the issue or portrays the end results of gayism or lesbian. You see, so when you find that, you will know now what your son or daughter should watch or what he shouldn't watch. But then you find that when they are at home, those are the things that they are engaged. Maybe he calls his friend or she calls her friend, and then they spend time with you. Are at work, you don't know what's going on. You've given limited time to your kids, and so you will only realize when now he or she has become now a teenager, or maybe he has become old. That's when you'll realize that perhaps the interest is not on the opposite gender, but on the same gender. But then they tend to, at that age, they tend to hide. You see, they will tend to hide because of various reasons that you are going to look at. So that is how same-sex gender starts. On the other hand, you will find that if you are just married to a lady or a man, but then in the process of getting married, maybe when you are knowing each other, you knew this person as a lesbian, or you knew him as a gay, but then you decided to get married to him because perhaps you are attracted to him, perhaps he is so handsome or beautiful, and so you have that idea of, I really want to get married to this person because I love him or I love her, and perhaps the fact that he is a lesbian or is a gay, I believe I'll change him or her. You see, they have that thought of, I will change him. They have that thought of, I'll change her. Like, I'm going to do everything possible to make sure that I have changed her. But then, after a while, you find that it's never the case. I mean, what results in this marriage after a while, it's totally different. I mean, I've had the worst case scenarios whereby a man was married to a lady, not knowing the lady was lesbian, and then like 3-4 years down the line, after they've gotten their daughter, the first child who was a daughter, this guy, I mean, the daughter grew and it was about 3 years. So this guy never knew that the lady was like, okay, still had the traits of the lesbianism in her. And so the kid could always come home when when the guy came back from work. The daughter could always like go to him, tell him that mom, dad, mom is always like touching my private parts. And then the mom will be like, no, she's lying, she's not. That's not the truth. But then someday, this man came back from work, found the lady red-handed, like uh, fingering the daughter. I mean, a 3-year-old daughter. Like, how dare you do that? I mean, you were there because you wanted to change, but now look at what has happened. I mean, that's bullshit. You see, when you are in marriage, when you ended up diverging from what you are to what you currently want to be. I mean, you should do your best. But now look at the challenges the daughter was facing. It's it's so sad. And so we want to see, we want to look at the challenges perhaps they are facing. I mean, the challenges the lesbian, the gay. I just like to maybe start by saying like if you are if you find yourself in that scenario whereby you are interested in the same sex gender, I mean these things that perhaps you should just do. I mean, if you are in that position, when you get a partner, what should you do? I mean, to avoid such scenarios whereby the daughter will always come to you and complain to you about her mom. I mean, it's high time you should talk about, you should talk with your partner, get to know his sex life. I mean, get to know like his sexuality. Is she still interested, or is he still interested in that same sex gender thing, or he has totally changed? Because this will, I mean, it will help a lot of things. It will like, it will help you overcome a lot of things. It will remove a lot of burden in you, because you won't be straining to like change this person, yet you know very well this person was this time. On the other hand, you will find that someone was just married, like genuinely, genuinely married, or this person was a straight person. I mean, he wasn't a gay, she wasn't a lesbian. They just got married as husband and wife. But then with time, you see, with the time, they separate, or maybe with time, the lady maybe starts finding interest in another lady. You see, like she brings friends home. You don't know these friends, who are they, but she just brings friends home. As for you, you are the husband. Maybe you say, let me give them space so that perhaps they chat about their past life and all that. But not knowing that the space you are giving them is what results to that interest building up. I mean, you as a lady, you see your man always bringing friends in the house, and you be like, let me give them space. They chat, they talk man issues, or I mean, the space you're giving them. I mean, I'm not saying that every man or every lady outside there who always brings a friend, perhaps is maybe a lesbian or a gay, but I'm just saying that these things can always like start with that. You see, like until you realize that someone's interest is no longer in you, but it's in another person, it will take time, and most of them they will tend to hide. That is the whole point. That's the bottom line. So don't crucify me. Don't crucify me of saying like this guy is telling us that we shouldn't even trust our husbands and women about their friends they are bringing in. I mean, that those ladies that they have the long-term friends. I mean, from the time you are dating them to the time you marry them. I mean, those people, the friends have been around. They've been around. Maybe the friends are the ones who connected you to them. So those ones are exceptional. I mean, those ones you see. The same to the gents. There are those friends that while you met them, they were chatting, they were talking, they were hanging out with them. After you are married, they still hang out. They can still come home. They visit you. I mean, that is exemptional. But now I'm talking about a point whereby your woman or your husband starts bringing home new people, like the ones you've never met, and in the name of friends and all that. And every other day, this person will come, or every other time, he will tell you or she will tell you, let me go hang out with my friend. I mean, it should ring a bell to you. So, before you decide that, I mean, you should get to know much more about the sexuality of your partner so that it avoids the burden, it avoids all these rubbing shoulders and all that. And so, this will also help in not punishing the other partner because they've given it all in that. And so, when you start going in a way that they were not expecting, at the end of the day. And so this brings us to, or it takes us straight to what are the challenges these people face. We find that they face a lot of challenges, of which some of them have just said, like hiding. They always hide because you find that the communities, the families that they live with or around them, they don't really accept or recognize the fact that lesbian or gay is something that should be talked about or should be shown, or they don't even believe in the fact that lesbians can have that love, that deep love to one another, or the gays can have. They always consider it as a taboo, or they consider it like my first question. The guy was asking, is it a sin to marry the same gender? I mean, they always consider it as a sin. And then we have the other challenge, that is overcoming fear. I mean, there are a lot of things that they fear might happen. I mean, in the scenario whereby you've married genuinely, husband and wife, and then the person goes ahead, or the lady goes ahead and starts dating another lady, ends up breaking up with you, and then in the process of they are dating, the lady realizes that the interest is in the man, or is the interest is in a man, and then she starts cheating by dating a man. Now, I mean, she wants to be laid, she wants to be fucked. So what she will get from the man is different from what she will get from the woman, and so she will end up go cheat. Worst case scenario, a lady was married, and then genuinely, she was married genuinely, like husband, wife, and all that. And so she left the husband, went ahead and started dating another woman or another lady. But then in the process, after 1 or 2 years, of dating and maybe of marriage, this lady that she got married to realized that she still had some strings attached with the men. And do you know what happened? I mean, you not only men but the ex-husband. So the worst case scenario that happened is that the lady that she got married to went to the house. I mean, stabbed the husband to death. So you can imagine the kind of burden she has created for the family of the man. I mean, why don't you just live in peace? If your interest is in the lady, just stay there. Don't look back and say that now I feel like I miss the dick. I feel like I miss to be fucked. I feel like what I'm getting from this lady is not even enough. I should go back to the man. I mean, get laid, get fucked, and all that. Stick to what your decision is, so that you don't give other people the burden of. So you can imagine that man just died like that, the ex-husband to this lady. He died because of what? The lady, I don't know, we can say he never made the right choices or what. But then, we always say stick to your choice. And then the other thing is, they always want to build relationship. Like they always want to be seen, to be known, to be heard, and so they tend to like they will look for all the ways. You see, those that are still new, they are not yet recognized. But what do? They really want, they struggle building that so that they be recognized. And so recognition is another challenge that they face because not everyone, not all communities, not all families do recognize the fact that lesbians and gays can do what? Can get married to another, can love one another, can like they can have kids. I mean, I've heard of the gays and the lesbian having kids after marriage, and then I just asked you, like, have you ever attended a church wedding for lesbians or gay? I don't know how it is, but I don't know. But then, does it mean that if you attend the church wedding for gays or lesbian, you are a gay or you are a lesbian? Sometimes it's just fun. You see, like you just learn. Sometimes I mean, it's all about learning. So don't misquote me or don't judge me. But I really feel like you should. It's a lesson. Like you can learn one or two things from there. And then the other thing that they always face, the other challenge that they always face is that they always want to prove that the love exists just beyond different sex gender, but it exists in them, the same sex gender. I mean, they always want to prove the societies, the families around them, the communities, that this thing can be done, it can work, the love can work. And so they go beyond the borders, beyond the mountains, just to prove to you that, you know what, the love I have for so and so, it can work. I mean, the feelings that I have for him or for her, it can work. So that's another challenge of which maybe at the end of the day, their proof proves us wrong, or their proof makes us not to be satisfied yet as the street people. Like, can it really work? Because maybe to them it can. I don't know. You know, for you to reach a point of like having a feeling to the same sex gender, I mean that's another thing. That's another thing altogether. But because it will start with, I mean, you start with the kissing and all that, because feelings you have to express. You have to like kiss one another, feel one another, like have sex. You see, it's another feeling on another level. So I mean the same way street people, like we, when we have a feeling towards one or towards the opposite gender, I mean we go for it. We can't just take the risks of like not or take the risk of perhaps hiding our feelings, but we always end up expressing our feeling. I mean, the lady is so beautiful, so what do? You go for her. I mean, you have that strong feeling that this is the woman you want, and so you have to go for her. The same way those people, the same way the gay and the lesbians, they have the same the feelings that maybe this is the lady I want to be. I want to get married to this lady. I mean, I can't wait to see my kids looking just the same as like her or like him. And so the feelings, you know, they cannot be denied. That's one thing I've come to realize, that if you have a feeling towards someone, you can't deny it. The same way the transgender, I mean, you've seen in that video, like the transgender getting where they have, like, I mean, the same way I'm asking about the wedding for the lesbian and the gay. I mean, you could also attend the wedding for transgender. I mean, you get to learn one or two things. The same feeling they have for one another. if you want to know more about the transgender, it's in one of my episodes. I think the second last episode after this or before this. Yeah, before this. You'll get to know more about the transgender, what they do, what they don't, what they hate, what they like. Now we are here. Another factor, another challenge that these people face is the legal information. I mean, you have the right to love, but then just like the street people, they always feel like, yes, I've loved this person for this period of time. Now it's high time I get married to him. It's high time we do a church wedding. It's high time we go for an advocate for signing the certificates of marriage and all that. The same way those people also want it to be. But you'll find that there are those countries that this thing is restricted. It's illegal. I mean, like in my country, I've never seen or I've never heard of a church wedding for lesbians or gays. But you find that in countries like UK, in countries like Canada, in countries like South Africa, I mean, these people allow this thing to happen. They have the legal. So you find that if somebody is perhaps dating, or if there are couples that are in this country or maybe in another country that they are dating, and they feel like, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, it will force them actually to fly all the way to one of those countries that I've just mentioned, and then maybe they take the passport, and then at the end of the day they do a wedding. Okay? You see, and then get the legal information like the marriage certificates and all that. So all this, I mean, it takes money, it takes time, it takes all that you go through, so that you just have the legal affirmation that you are married to this person, and your lives are bound together. But then you might ask that I know maybe most of you might ask that with those churches that are doing the wedding, what are they up to? I mean, just like any other priest who is there to join you as husband and wife, they also do that in the holy matrimony. But then we don't know, I mean, we don't know, if they are going against the laws of love, or they are just in the right way of the laws of love in human being. I don't know. I like to maybe get comments in the comment section about that. But you find that these are things that are happening. I mean, they are happening all over. And so this country, most countries don't allow the legal information, because you see, it's not that this lesbian and gay, it's okay, it's hidden, yes. But you find that some countries it's not even hidden. The fact that they cannot get married to one another publicly, that's what matters. You see, that's what matters to them. That's what affects them most. And so they have to go through all that. I mean, for them to get married, for them to get those legal information, legal affirmation, the certificate, marriage certificate and all that, they have to fly to those countries so that they do that. And the other thing is the discrimination and rejection. You see, that's one of also the challenge, because I feel like these people cannot walk publicly, like holding one another's hand. Though in my country I've seen them walking publicly, because now at some point you just have to come into terms into that, because you cannot arrest someone for loving the other person. I mean, it's their choice. That's why they are saying it's a choice. It's all about a choice. The same way you choose to marry a beautiful lady, to marry the handsome man that you have always wanted. I mean, the same way you choose to be this person is who I want to grow with, this person is the one I want to spend life with. That is how they do. That is, I mean, you can't arrest them. You can't go and start beating them, because so as much as they are being discriminated by their families or around the workplaces, you find that they are being rejected around the workplaces. Those are the challenges they face. But on top of all this, they still go overboard. Most of them still go overboard, and they don't disappoint their feelings. They still want to be like, yeah, I want to marry this person. And so things, maybe we look at what motivates them, because just like the straight people, something always motivates us to get married to the opposite sex. I mean, you figure out that this person, I can grow with him or with her. She will be a good mother to my kids. He is going to be a good mother or a good future husband. Yeah, not mother, a good future husband to my kids or to my sons and daughters. The same way, they also figure out that, like, this person is going to be a good father to my husband or a good mother to my husband. I mean, in the process of them dating, they are able to choose, like, who is the husband, who is the wife, who is. I mean, you've always seen that, like in the pictures, like you see a man proposing to another man. So definitely we figure out, like, the one proposing is the man, the one being proposed to is the woman. So the same way they look at this could be, this is going to be the husband to my, this is going to be the father to my kids, is going to be the good mother to my kids. And so those are the motivation, the growth, the being motivated, the fact that we can grow together. It's the properties and all that, buying the properties and all that. So that is one thing that motivates them. But again, maybe just to because you see, these people, you find that the fear of that overcoming the fear, it's also like, on the other hand, you find that at some point young people, young men and women, they get to this thing because perhaps they see it as a source of income. I don't know, but I believe you've met such scenarios whereby you've seen whereby there is this, the LGBTQ communities. You see, like, young women and men are being, like, they get into these communities with the aim of, like, getting rich, or with the aim of, like, they want to have money. Because the LGBTQ community is always, like, I can say that it's always sponsors, or it's always sponsors all these sex genders, like the lesbians and the gays. So our sons and daughters might be driven to that. But then the more reason we always say we should always be open when it comes to family matters. I mean, when you're open with your daughter, when you're open with your husband, when you're open with your wife, I mean, you get to know all this. These things can't happen when you're open, because you will end up being, if you are the father, you'll end up being the married counselor, or you'll do the cancellation. You'll have to do the cancellation for your kids and maybe for your wife. If you're the wife, you have to do the cancellation for your husband and your daughters and your sons. Episode, like, interesting, because I realize most of you find it interesting, but you don't subscribe, you don't like, you don't share. But then if you find it interesting, then perhaps you should subscribe, you should share, you should maybe tell a friend to tell a friend. And so as we are winding up, I'd just like to say that the same sex isn't just about the romance. The same sex isn't just about the romance, but it's about freedom, it's about the choice, it's about the right to love, uh, and to be seen, which most of the young people outside there, most of the young ladies outside there struggle with, despite being rejected, despite being discriminated. But you find that at the end of the day, it's their choice. I mean, it's something that you cannot change. But then, if you could have changed, if you wanted to change it, maybe you could have changed it from the time it was not that strong. But you'll find that perhaps most parents tend to change it when it has already grown. And so this is whereby you'll find that a parent will disown his own child, his own daughter or son, because he has realized that the son or the daughter has gone into something that he never expected. I mean, is bringing shame to him or her, but that's not the case. I mean, this thing, the more reason we always say, as a father, as a mother, you should always stay close to your kids, stay close to your husband, stay close to your wife. This will make you learn more about them. I mean, don't always like, I don't have time for my family, and you are like, you are ever busy and all that. I mean, you should always have that time. Stay close to them, always watch them, always talk to them. I believe with this you'll get to know more about what's affecting your son, what's affecting your wife, what's affecting your husband. And with this you will like overcome all these challenges. But then back to our scenario, you find that these genders they want to be seen. They want to be like, their love. It's not about like it's not about only intimacy. It's all about freedom. It's all about expressing the right to love one another. I mean, it's all about like, they want to be heard and seen. They want the freedom in it. And so, despite all these challenges of rejection, discrimination, or being disowned by the parents, they still end up like, they say yes to their other partner. They still end up like, I still want to be with you, because they believe that's what they want. And so I would like to close it at that point. I want to say thank you guys for staying tuned wherever you are, wherever you are watching. I believe you've had a great time, you're having a great time with your family or with your husband or with yourself. And so thank you so much. If you are within the country, continue to stay tuned. If you are watching even across the world, around the globe, I want to say also thank you. Keep staying tuned. Make sure that your notification bell is always on, so that every other time you're bringing a new episode, every other week that we bring a new episode, a new topic, a new discussion, you're always there to perhaps discuss with us, help us walk the journey. And so thank you so much, guys. Stay tuned. Well, see you next time.